Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary I Spy going on here. Back to Mars, back to Gale Crater. And we are looking at the Dingo Gap image, the famous Dingo Gap image yet again. I've done quite a few videos on this, but today we're focusing on one particular thing, which is right here. And we got all the statues over here on the right. I've done lots of videos on these. There's some up on this ridge line. There's a row of 3 here. There's some down here. There's also some in the background here, but they're a bit too far away. But today, we're looking over the other side, over here, on this slope. And now, I'd imagine this is something like 50 or 60 feet, I'd say 50 feet away from the rover, maybe 40 actually. And when you zoom in, you've got this group of rocks here, another group here. You've got the slope coming down. There's the top of the slope there. You come down here, and right in the smack in the middle there, we have what looks like an encrusted or fossilized or dust-covered training shoe. Okay, so there it is. That's all we've got to do. So Curiosity Rover, Sol 530 composite by Todd here. Credit to Todd for this. Nice work. There are lots of other Gigapans of the area, some by Neville Thompson and 1 or 2 other people as well. But this is one that came up, so I thought I'd show this. I think there may be clearer ones than this. So let me zoom out just so you can find that nice and easily. So follow the links below if you want to check this out yourself. Zoom right out there. So you've got the sand ridge there, and then you go straight across above that rock, sort of halfway up this slope here. All right? Right, now then, I'm going to show you the folder. I've got some clips of it. Here we are. And what I've done is I've done a composite meme image where I've got the raw image and the enhanced image together to show that there hasn't been much done to the actual image apart from rotating it here. I've taken a clip, I've rotated it slightly so it's straight, obviously because it's on the slope, and I've added a colour filter and some brightness, and there we have it. Okay. Very strange. You've got the sole here coming up. You've got rather thick kind of sole with these kind of angular parts. You've got the sort of tongue bit sticking up here. You've got the part where you put your foot in, like it would come up to your ankle here. So that's the ankle area. And if you look really carefully, it's not very clear. It's dust covered. It's a low res image. Although the panoramic isn't low res, but the individual images are fairly low res, so they're not amazing. But this one wasn't too bad, because it's quite well lit, and you can see some detail here. You've got quite a defined shadow underneath. It's definitely the shape of a trainer, as I'll show you in a minute. This is the bit where you put your foot in here, at the top. Got a dark shadow there, and we've got what looks like laces here. Okay, there's one there, 2, 3. That seems to come down, and we've got this odd design on the side, like an emblem or some kind of design. So what I'll do, I'll put some clips of this in a minute, and I'll brighten this up a little bit actually, because this is still a bit dark for my liking. You can't see it as well as I would like. Let's have a look at the raw image down the bottom here. Here it is. So you can see it there on the slope. There it is. Let's have a look at it from this angle. This is just that on its own. It's a bit closer. Now you may want to tilt your screen slightly like I'm doing now to see that a bit clearer, because if you have your screen tilted too far back, it will look darker. If you tilt it towards you slightly, that really brightens it up, so you can actually see what looks like a lace there, and another one here, and there's this round thing there, which may be some kind of eyelet or something, or toggle or something. So there's detail there. It looks very much like a trainer. Let me show you very quickly, some old trainers that I've just Googled. I'm not advertising any of these things. I've got no contact to any of these companies. I'm just showing you the shapes and designs here. You've got these similar, this is similar in colour, obviously because it's brown, but you've got these kind of weird, I mean there's probably millions of types of trainers, I don't know. And they've all got slightly different designs. Some are very angular, some have got kind of pointed parts on them, some have got more sort of ergonomic sort of shapes to them with sort of curves, and some have got really thick soles to them, and some have got emblems on the side, obviously. Some have got eyelets, which are sort of triangle shaped. Some are rounded. Some have got Velcro on. Some have got I mean, you could go on forever looking at them. I'm not going to even trying to match one up exactly, because of course the one I'm showing you today is on Mars. So I wouldn't expect there to be a design exactly the same as one of ours down here. That would be stupid, wouldn't it? But some of them do have very similar angular parts to the sole here, like this one. And obviously they're shoe shaped. So the shoe that I'm showing you today is obviously a shoe that was worn by a human, or at least someone who was humanoid. Size, I'm not sure we can work it out exactly, but I would say it's probably about a size 12. It's quite large. It's not a small, like size 7 or whatever, size 6 or 7. Let's go back to that. Now, I would estimate this is probably about 40 feet away. Now, obviously the rover's right here. You can see the edge of the rover there, part of the rover. That's one of the wheels and the track there. So let's scan upwards and see if we can work out how far away this is. Zoom in. It's pretty hard to say. I would say around 40 feet, perhaps. It may look further than that, but you'd be surprised. That track there, if we saw the whole width of it, would be 20 inches wide, but we can't see all of it. So we're seeing about half. There we're seeing about two-thirds or three-quarters of the track. It would probably come to here. So that's 20 inches if it came to there. So yeah, let's work it out. And we got all the way back there. So this thing's pretty big. I would say that is probably like a size 12, possibly bigger, possibly smaller. Couldn't tell you exactly. Don't know exactly how far away it is, so can't work it out exactly. But it's not what I would call a small shoe, like a 6 or 7. But of course, I mean, I wear 10s or 11s even. It could be bigger. It could be a 13 sort of size or more. So if this is a shoe, it may not be, but it certainly looks like one. It would have been worn by someone with human-like feet, which suggests, yet again, like all the other evidence I've shown, that there were humans on Mars, or at least there were humanoids on Mars who were similar to us. Not the same necessarily. I have shown pictures of some of them. Some of them look quite weird. Some of them look very human. Some of them look kind of reptilian. Some of them look kind of insectoid. There's another video I did a while back. This was called The Boot Found on Mars, pirate style. This was over a year ago now I did this. So there are other examples. There's also this video I did years ago. I found this back in 2014, that's a long time ago now, of a boot here. This one even has laces on it, just there. You can see that lace there hanging off. So some of these things aren't that old. They may be fossilized or encrusted or whatever. I'm not sure, but they're probably encrusted in this sticky, sulfur-rich sand which sticks to things and clings to it and kind of forms like a crust on everything, like concretion. So there's the old Viking-style boot. Now that was one of the very early finds from my channel, and you can even see laces on it. So it's very similar to one of these. Very similar shape. So it's not the first that's been found. Other channels have found shoes on Mars, not just in Gale Crater from the Curiosity Rover, but near the Spirit rover, and also near the other rover, Opportunity. So they have been found all over Mars, but people always just write them off as rocks. But this one clearly has laces. You can see 1, 2, 3 clear laces there. There's an orangey colour just there. And this is kind of stuck in the mud, and the mud's hardened and semi kind of fossilized it, right? Now this may be 1,000,000 years old, this may only be 100 years old. I think they're quite recent. And I still maintain that Mars was inhabited until very recently and may still be underground, where it's warm and safe from the harsh radiation and cold conditions. So there we are. I'm not advertising any of these, I'm just showing you comparative images here. There's one, this one looks very similar, it's even got an M on it. M for Mars. No, very similar, we got the similar kind of shape. The one on Mars, let's go back to that. I'll just show you those again. It's more like this, it's a bit taller here at the back, so it sort of goes above the ankle. A lot of trainers go below the ankle, but some go above. They're like little boots. training boots almost like this. That's not a great example, but it does show the sort of thick sole on the bottom there, a bit like the one I showed you on Mars. Let's go back to the folder, or let's go back to this. Okay, there we are. We've got this thick sole coming around, up like that, angular. You've got what look like laces there. They're not very clear, but they are there. There's a round thing there. We've got the tongue coming up to here, and there's the inner part where you put your foot in, with a kind of padded bit around the edge. You've got this padded sort of part. Now, of course, this area was probably flooded at one point. This is a very deep crater on Mars, 4.5 kilometers deep at its deepest point, and we're near the deepest point here. So it's at least 4 kilometers deep, this area, and a lot of it was full of water, and there may have been a tsunami that washed lots of wreckage and stuff into the crater when there was a cataclysm on Mars. And there are lots of things lying around. I've never found a pair of shoes, but I found about 7 or 8 boots and shoes so far, individual boots and shoes, and some of them are quite large and some of them are very small. And there are loads and loads of other things like items of clothing and stuff like that as well as buildings, ruined buildings, and skulls and remains and stuff as well, even remains of people lying around. So there we are. This is not a one-off. I will put some extra clips in a few seconds. I'll put some more of these shoes in as well, shoes and boots, but I'll show you a few other things as well, just to show you I'm not making this up. This research has been going on for many years now, and I've come up with hundreds of similar things on the surface. The boot being one of my favourite, the boot found on Mars, because it was just a really cool shape, and has even got a long sort of heel sticking down here, like this, similar to this one on Earth, this kind of pirate style boot here. There we are. It's even got laces there. You can see the laces of 1, 2, 3. Very similar indeed. So, does this mean there are humans on Mars? Yes, it probably does. Were they the same as us? Not necessarily, probably quite similar. They probably ranged in size from very small, about a foot tall, right up to about 7 feet tall perhaps. And there are some examples of skulls and things I found which were absolutely massive, which were giant-sized, and were basically over 15 foot tall, some perhaps even 20 foot tall. So there was a full range of different sizes here, but of course some of those may have been many, many millions of years ago, may have died out many millions of years ago and become fossilized, and this is what I'm finding. So some of these things are recent, some of these things are very, very old indeed. I couldn't give you a date, but I'm just giving you an approximation based on the condition of these things that are lying on the ground. Okay, there we are. Look, there's the lace on that one. I've highlighted it there, sticking down. So it's not the first example. This is one of about 9 or 10 I've got. There were a good 7 examples of clear boots. Some of them have laces, some of them don't. Some of them are clearer than others. This one's fairly clear because it was a good quality image. And incidentally, there are many other similar things like mobile phones and things lying around on the ground that I've also published. So I'll put a few links at the end of this video to those, so you can check those out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Do check out my new channel, Space Detective 1, if you haven't already. And please leave your ad blockers off when watching my videos, if you could. It really helps this channel because a lot of people are blocking the ads, which means that a lot of us YouTubers aren't getting paid. So thank you very much for watching. See you soon.